Unlock the hidden wisdom of a 700-year-old forbidden book to access mystical worlds. I never expected a single dream to change everything, but that night, as I drifted into sleep, visions flooded my mind. The air felt electric, each breath tinged with anticipation. I found myself standing in a dark, shadowy library, where the scent of ancient books filled my lungs like a breath from another time. Shadows danced on the walls, whispers echoing secrets I had longed to hear. I was gripped by doubt. The mundane had swallowed my life, each day blurring into the next, a series of monotonous routines. My heart raced with uncertainty as I traced my fingers over the spine of a massive, dust-covered tome, its cover adorned with symbols I could barely comprehend. This book, they said, held knowledge beyond imagination, passed down through generations, a relic of a world waiting to be accessed. Images flickered before me, crowds of people from distant lands, their eyes wide with wonder. They stretched out hands as if to touch the very fabric of the universe. I lost myself in thought. What if this book was the key to unlocking those realms? I felt the weight of possibility pressing heavily against my chest. Outside, the wind howled, twisting the branches, creating a symphony of chaos. The darkened sky flashed with distant lightning, illuminating the path before me. A strange omen, perhaps. Nature, it seemed, felt my yearning. I could almost hear the trees whispering, beckoning me closer to the truth hidden within this ancient wisdom, yet, an unsettling feeling nestled deep in my gut, questions left unanswered. What had happened to the previous keepers of this book? What had they uncovered and lost? And why was it now buried within layers of dust and neglect, shrouded in mystery? I could sense the gravity of the journey ahead, intertwined with shadows I had yet to face. As I grappled with my thoughts, a flicker of light caught my eye, dancing like a flame in the darkness. Could it be a sign? Or merely my imagination running wild? I reached out, my fingers trembling with anticipation. The room felt alive, pulsating with energy, an invitation to see what lay beyond the veil. The room pulsed with an energy that sent shivers down my spine. Each heartbeat echoed like a drum, thud, thud, thud. I leaned in closer, the whispers growing louder, beckoning me into the depths of the unknown. Suddenly, everything fell silent, and I was left hovering at the edge of a chasm, teetering between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Was I ready to leap? To uncover the truth nestled within the pages? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As my heartbeat slowed, the silence enveloped me like a thick fog, pressing against my skin. Those fleeting moments felt like an eternity, a threshold stretching between the known and the unknown. With courage bubbling within, I made my choice. I stepped forward, fully intending to delve into the mysteries that awaited me. I grasped the spine of the tome, and as I opened it, the pages began to rustle, alive with an energy unlike anything I'd ever encountered. Designs swirled across the parchment, each line whispering secrets of otherworldly realms. They spoke of ancient civilizations, celestial beings, and paths intertwined. One passage leaped out, vivid and clear, as if the words had jumped off the page. To understand the cosmos, one must first understand oneself. The revelation struck me with a jolt. I felt a profound shift within, as though the words challenged my very existence. Was the key to these mystical worlds locked inside the chambers of my own spirit, rather than in the vast expanse of the universe? The air in the library thickened, buzzing with the energy of long-forgotten seekers. I glanced around, surprised to find that the shadows had shifted, revealing faint silhouettes, figures draped in cloaks and carrying lanterns that flickered like stars. They moved deliberately, whispering incantations that snaked through the air, swirling around me like gusts of wind. I realized these were the keepers of the book, guardians of its esoteric wisdom. Their silent gaze reflected a knowing that was both intimidating and inviting. As curiosity stirred within me, I felt an irresistible pull towards one of these figures, a woman whose presence resonated with familiarity. She turned sharply, eyes piercing through the darkness, locking onto my own. Her lips curled into a knowing smile, as if recognizing the struggle I carried within my heart. Wordlessly, she extended her hand, inviting me deeper into the library. Hesitantly, I took her hand. Suddenly, we were surrounded by swirling dust motes, illuminating the path ahead. Vivid tapestries hung from the walls, adorned with scenes of celestial travelers journeying through the stars. I felt as if I were stepping into realms I'd only dared to dream of, spaces woven from imagination and possibility. We approached another tome, this one engraved with intricate symbols that pulsated with a rhythmic light. The woman gestured toward it, and I felt a magnetic attraction, yearning to connect with whatever wisdom lay dormant within its pages. Together, we opened its cover, and the room exploded with brilliant colors, transporting us into a scene of ethereal beauty. I found myself standing in an open field under a blanket of stars. Each twinkling point of light felt sentient, whispering secrets of the universe in a language I yearned to understand. Among the stars, I felt weightless, liberated from the burdens of my earthly existence. How many souls had traversed this cosmic terrain, seeking answers, gathering wisdom? But as my heart swelled with awe, I was abruptly jolted back to the library, the woman's expression turning grave. The flickering lanterns dimmed, and a shadow loomed over us. I realized then that not all knowledge came without consequence. The quest to unveil the mysteries would require sacrifice, courage, and a willingness to confront the shadows of my past. I sensed the woman's sorrowful gaze, as if she knew the challenges I would face. Every seeker treads a path of darkness before they can embrace the light, she whispered, urging me to reflect on the journey ahead. Standing on the precipice once more, I understood that this was merely a beginning, an initiation into the kind of spiritual journey that would unearth deeper truths. My spirit was a vessel, ready to collect the fragments of wisdom scattered across existences. Yet the questions loomed larger now. What shadows lay in my own psyche? How would I confront the fears that clung like barnacles to my essence? And as the darkness flickered before me, a single thought resonated like an echo within my mind: was the key truly in unlocking the book, or was it in unlocking myself? When the weight of the library's shadows began to shift, I felt an urge to search for one specific answer. What did it mean to confront the darkness within? The woman beside me seemed to sense this yearning, her presence grounding me while still inviting curiosity about the realms I had only glimpsed. As the lanterns flickered back to life, a spectrum of colors washed over the space, igniting a swirling dance of light and shadow. Look deeper, she urged, steering me toward an arched doorway at the far end of the library, its threshold shimmering with a soft glow, hinting at uncharted mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Each step felt heavy, my heart drumming a nervous rhythm in my chest. I hesitated, wondering if stepping beyond this threshold meant unearthing truths I wasn't ready to face. Every path has a price, she said, as if reading the tumultuous thoughts swirling in my mind. But remember, the treasures we uncover can illuminate paths we didn't know existed. Her reassurance echoed the sentiments woven into the fabric of the tattered book I had embraced. Stepping through the doorway sent a cascade of sensations racing along my skin, like the electric hum of a summer storm. I found myself in a dimly lit corridor lined with mirrors, each reflecting not my physical self but the very essence of my soul. Within each glimmering surface, fragments of memories danced, smiles, struggles, moments of pure joy interspersed with raw pain. Faces of friends long past and dreams deferred seemed to gaze back at me, their eyes filled with questions I had yet to confront. The woman drifted beside me, whispering, "In these reflections lie the shadows and light of your essence. Do you dare to peer deeper?" With a deep breath, I turned to one mirror that shimmered with intensity. Within it, I saw a moment where doubt had clouded my choices, a past instance where fear silenced my voice. I felt a surge of pain, recognizing how often fear had dictated my decisions, but there was also a flicker of love woven throughout, holding space for forgiveness and understanding. As if echoing my realization, the reflections began to swirl, coalescing into another poignant memory: the moment I had first opened the mystical tome, when curiosity had triumphed over despair. Suddenly, a low hum reverberated through the corridor, igniting a craving in my heart to dive deeper into these memories. In the mirrored surface, the shadows quivered but began to morph, revealing hidden truths I had yet to face, thoughts I had dismissed, dreams I left behind, and emotions I had buried deep. As if responding to my vulnerability, the air crackled with energy, and one mirror transformed before my eyes. It became a cosmic doorway, leading into a dazzling expanse filled with swirling galaxies and radiant lights. Entranced, I ventured closer. The closer I approached, the louder the whispers became a chorus of souls urging me to step into the cosmic tapestry that awaited, but just as I gathered the courage to leap beyond the threshold, the woman's voice anchored me back. To explore the cosmos, you must first conquer the cosmos within. Each shadow has a light, embrace them together. That I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply, grounding myself in the myriad of light and darkness swirling in and around me. I could feel the weight of my existence past, present, and future intertwined in a magnificent dance. Overwhelmed, I felt a sense of humility wash over me, the realization that this journey was as much about embracing my shadows as it was about seeking the mysteries of the universe. Then came a revelation, a quiet yet resounding question that settled in the crevices of my spirit. What if the shadows, instead of being barriers, were actually gateways, each holding a key to the wisdom I had sought? The thought thrilled and terrified me, leaving me with more questions. How would I navigate this labyrinth of inner darkness? What treasures awaited on the other side of my fears? As the corridor pulsed with life and mysteries unfolded around me, I felt the weight of the journey still ahead. With the woman's presence bolstering me, I understood that self-exploration would ultimately lead me to the cosmic truths I craved, and so, standing amidst the reflective shadows and the celestial echoes, I pondered, in unlocking the hidden wisdom within, would I also find the keys to the mystical worlds beyond? The corridor pulsed with a rhythm that resonated deeply within me as I contemplated the vastness of what lay ahead. I felt as if I was caught at the intersection of existence. Behind me lay the known, the safety of familiar shadows, and before me stretched the tantalizing yet terrifying unknown, an expanse that whispered of awakening. Trust the journey, the woman beside me said, sensing my hesitation. She gestured toward another mirror at the end of the corridor, its surface barely visible beneath a layer of swirling fog. Unlike the previous reflections that had showcased my victories and sorrows, this mirror appeared veiled in uncertainty, its light flickering unpredictably. Each reflection reveals a facet of your truth, she continued. Though fear shrouds this one, it may hold the secrets you seek most fervently. As I approached the mirror, a chill ran down my spine. I hesitated, summoning the courage to confront whatever lay behind the fog. The moment my fingers brushed against the glass, the surface rippled, as if it were water disturbed by a pebble's drop. The fog began to clear, unveiling moments of my life intertwined with the people and experiences that had influenced my path. The first image sprang for the scene from my childhood. I stood timidly at the edge of a playground, watching other children laugh and play. A deep ache settled in my chest as I recognized that I had always kept myself on the periphery, driven by a need for approval that stemmed from unacknowledged insecurities. Through the haze, another image emerged: me adolescence, punctuated by a series of choices made from the fear of rejection rather than the voice of my heart. With each scene, I felt the weight of my past pressing upon me, a collective longing for acceptance and understanding. Yet, interspersed within these memories were fleeting glimpses of bravery, taking steps to speak up in class, reaching out to a friend in need. The woman spoke softly, guiding my insight. Amid the shadows of fear grow the seeds of courage. Your journey is about evolving, each echo from your past guides your present. Suddenly, a warm light emanated from the depths of the mirror, illuminating yet another memory, one of hope. It unfurled like golden sunbeams through the darkness, a moment when I had chosen to follow my gut, to leap into the unknown that had once seemed so terrifying. I saw myself as a young adult, standing at the threshold of opportunity, armed with a daring ambition to explore, to create, and to connect. It was a reminder that I had already lived the bravery I sought. As the swirling scene faded, questions coalesced in my mind. If the essence of courage and creativity thrived within me, what had held me back all those years? What golden threads of possibility had I woven through the fabric of my existence? yet chosen to neglect, the final image of the mirror began to shift. I caught a glimpse of a future where the weight of my past hung like a tapestry upon me, yet I also saw a contrasting vision, one in which I shattered my self-imposed limitations, stepping into spaces illuminated by not just courage, but authenticity. Is it truly possible to embrace the essence of my shadows, to extract from their depths the luminosity of possibility tied to my spirit? New questions arose, swirling in the air like the shimmering dust of the cosmic embassy beyond. Am I ready to dance with the parts of me long neglected? What would it take to transform my relationship with fear, to recognize it not as an enemy but as a teacher? Stepping back from the mirror, I felt the weight of my introspection settle around me. The woman maintained her silent but powerful presence, a reminder that I was not alone in this journey of self-discovery. As the hallway swelled with the hum of cosmic energy, I lingered in the moment, ruminating on my revelations. With the shadows illuminating my path ahead, I questioned not only what lies within me but also how that internal exploration would ripple outward into the vastness of the universe that awaited beyond. What shadows do I still need to illuminate before I can touch the stars? As I stepped away from the ethereal mirror, the air around me thickened with anticipation. The woman by my side seemed to shimmer, her essence blending with the corridor's cosmic rhythm. I felt her gaze upon me, inviting me to delve deeper into the labyrinth of my consciousness. Look around, she urged, gesturing expansively. There's more than just mirrors here. Each twist and turn of this corridor holds a lesson, waiting to reveal itself. With a deep breath, I proceeded forward, drawn by an inexplicable force. The corridors arched and spiraled, adorned with flickering lights that hummed quietly, echoing the heartbeat of all that exists. As I walked, I noticed the walls were etched with intricate designs, symbols that spoke of ancient truths and forgotten wisdom. They pulsed with a lively energy that tugged at my curiosity. Suddenly, I was drawn toward a door at the far end of the hallway. Its surface appeared worn yet compelling, adorned with unfamiliar symbols that danced along its edges, shimmering with a golden hue. As my fingers traced the patterns, a gentle warmth radiated from the door, wrapping around me like a comforting embrace. Step through, the woman whispered, her voice filled with an encouraging gentleness. My heart raced with uncertainty yet also with an exhilarating sense of adventure, as if I were on the brink of discovering something profound. The door swung open, unveiling a room filled with books stacked high, their worn spines whispering secrets of ages past. The air was thick with the scent of fading parchment and cedar, and I felt an inexplicable connection to this space. In the center of the room stood a large wooden table, beautifully marred yet resilient, at which lay a singular, compelling volume. Its cover was adorned with an intricate illustration that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. I approached cautiously, drawn to its energy. As my hands hovered above its pages, an electric sensation coursed through me, igniting sparks of curiosity within. This is the forbidden book, the woman revealed, her voice punctuated by reverence. Within its depths lie the keys to unlocking your potential, woven together through the stories of those who walked similar paths before you. Each tale embodies layers of wisdom, awaiting the right seeker to breathe life into them. Once more did I sense the weight of each unsaid word, each silent page yearning to be opened, to reveal truths hidden beneath centuries of dust and neglect. I turned the cover, and as I did, waves of energy enveloped me, pulling me into the stories contained within. Visions erupted like fireworks. The first was of a wise sage wandering through a vibrant forest, their footsteps echoing the rhythm of nature's song. The sage held a delicate flower, its petals whispering messages of growth and resilience. With each petal that fell, I felt my own fears and doubts dissipate, leaving space for clarity and purpose. Another narrative unfolded, a tale of an artist who dared to create from the shadows, manifesting brilliance that spoke to the collective soul. Their brush danced with colors that surprised, igniting embers of passion in those who encountered their work. As I absorbed this, I began to see parallels to my own life, how silence and fear had stifled my expression, yet amidst the beauty of these stories, a weight settled over me, knowledge that understanding was one thing, but action was another. What passions had I allowed to fade into the background? What ineffable truths had I yet to embody fully? Each tale is a reflection of your potential, the woman interjected, her presence reminding me of the spaces I had yet to explore. Do not merely read, let them resonate within your very being. the book seemed to pulse in response to my thoughts, as if it was aware of my internal struggle. Compelling images of the lives I could live and the dreams I could manifest played vividly in my mind. Yet questions loomed like shadows over my revelations. What had I internalized that kept me tethered to the past? How could I transform those insights into actions that propelled me forward? As I closed the book, its cover exuding whispers of promise, I felt a sense of responsibility. The knowledge within was not just for my journey, it could influence others and spark a collective awakening. In that moment, an urgency blossomed within me, a desire not only to embrace my own story but to weave a tapestry of connection that spanned generations. Yet the question remained, how would I summon the courage to share this newfound wisdom without fear of rejection? What if the very act of sharing became the key to unlocking even deeper truths? With my heart racing and my spirit alight, I turned back toward the woman standing in silence, embodying the wisdom of ages past. As her gaze anchored me, I sought the answer in her eyes, but only the reflection of my own uncharted journey stared back. What will it take for me to become the bridge between the stories of the past and the realities of the present, illuminating a future that has yet to be written? The room around me shimmered with quiet anticipation, the atmosphere thick with the weight of history and the electric potential of possibility. I felt a shift within myself, a stirring echoing through the corridors of my mind, urging me to embrace the call of wisdom that flowed from the pages of the forbidden book. As I turned my attention back to the woman, I saw her nodding slightly, as if she understood the tumult swirling within me. Each journey begins with a choice, she said softly, a step taken not merely with the feet but with the heart and soul. What will you choose next? The question hung in the air, a golden thread woven into the fabric of this mystical moment. To choose meant to accept the inherent uncertainty of the path ahead, yet something deep inside compelled me forward. I want to learn more. I want to understand these stories, not just as tales of old, but as living truths that can guide me. The woman's smile widened, illuminating the space around us. Then let us seek the hidden chamber of echoes, she said, gesturing toward a shadowy passageway that branched off from the Ruma path that pulsed with a rhythm entirely its own. In this chamber, you will not only hear the stories but will find your voice entwined within them. With a steady heartbeat accompanying my steps, I followed her into the passageway. The air chilled as we navigated the dimly lit corridor, its walls lined with earthen tones that drew me deeper into the recesses of my being. Flickering lights above transformed into a constellation of stars, each glimmer illuminating a fragment of my soul. Arriving at the hidden chamber of echoes, I paused at the doorway. The space stretched out before me like the vast expanse of the cosmos, the walls adorned with murals portraying figures immersed in rituals, their faces carved with passion, wisdom, and pain. The echoes of their stories reverberated through the air, wrapping around me like a warm blanket, simultaneously eliciting comfort and discomfort. Here, you will discover your resonance, the woman said, stepping aside, granting me solitary space as the chamber welcomed my presence. Listen closely, the past is not merely behind you. It lives and breathes within you, waiting to awaken. Taking a deep breath, I stepped into the chamber. As I did, a wave of sound enveloped me, a harmonious blend of whispers, laughter, and cries that seemed to carry the weight of countless lifetimes. I closed my eyes, allowing the echoes to wash over me, and soon, visions cascaded through my mind that I saw myself as a child, curious and unrestrained, chasing dreams without the burden of doubt. Next, I witnessed moments of hesitation, standing at crossroads, opportunities shaped by choices both courageous and fearful. Each fragment unraveling laid bare my fragmented soul, illuminating the layers of experience that shaped me, revealing how they intertwined with the stories of those before me. Then I felt it, an echo resonating with my very essence, a tale of a storyteller who traveled between realms, weaving the essence of wisdom through words. This figure carried messages that shaped entire communities, breathing life into the forgotten. Yet, with each verse shared, a piece of their heart was exposed, echoing the age-old fear of vulnerability that lurked beneath creativity's surface. The chamber groaned with emotional energy, urging me to confront my own fear of exposure. To share the truths that lie within you is to invite others to see themselves in your reflection. The woman's voice cut through the whirlpool of my thoughts. Each story shared is a stepping stone for others, a path illuminated in darkness, but a knot formed in my chest as doubt surfaced. Would my words hold significance? Would they resonate within the hearts of others, or would they falter in silence? The question loomed like a shadow, echoing through the chamber. Then, amidst the cascade of doubts, a realization illuminated my mind. A spark ignited. Every story has its rhythm, I whispered, the words tumbling forth. Not every voice must resonate the same, and even the softest whisper can reverberate through the cosmos. Emboldened, I sought deeper visions within the chamber, navigating the echoes of my fears and the unspoken truths waiting to be unlocked. What I held within was not merely a collection of memories but a profound connection to a broader narrative woven across time, of those who feared yet persevered, of dreams interlaced and destinies transformed. Yet as my newfound understanding blossomed, I couldn't shake the question resting heavily on my heart. How do I step into my role within this grand tapestry and transform these echoes into a melody that resonates with others? What if I dared to become a conduit of stories, both mine and those of the ancient sages who once walked similar paths? As I stepped back into the corridor, the door closing softly behind me, I took a moment to reflect on the vastness that lay before me. Each corridor held stories yet to be uncovered, and within me lay the potential to give voice to those waiting in silence. What would it take to transform the echoes into action, embracing the transformative power of vulnerability? What if the act of sharing would be the very key to not only unlocking my potential but igniting a flame in others? As I stepped back into the corridor, the whispers of the hidden chamber still swirled around me, a soft symphony that seemed to guide my footsteps. With each step, I felt the weight of my intent, a desire to embrace the stories that had lingered so closely yet felt worlds away. The path ahead was veiled in shadows, yet I could sense the flickering lights of possibility guiding me forward. The passageway widened as I approached its end, ultimately revealing a vast, dome-shaped room bathed in a warm golden light, a stark contrast to the dim corridor I had traversed. The ceiling spiraled upward into infinity, adorned with intricate patterns that danced like flames, igniting a sense of awe. As I moved further inside, I noticed a group of figures sitting in a circle, their faces illuminated by the glow of flickering candles, eyes closed, each absorbed in silent contemplation. Curiosity tugged at my heart, urging me to approach. It was clear that they were engaged in a deeply personal practice, yet the room thrummed with a collective energy, harmony born from individual introspection. As I joined the circle, I noticed a small, unmarked book resting in the center, its pages fluttering softly, as if touched by a gentle breeze. Despite the stillness surrounding us, "Welcome, seeker," an elder woman spoke, her voice a resonant echo of kindness. She motioned for me to sit, an invitation wrapped in warmth. "We are gathered here to unearth the hidden wisdom within the stories that dwell within us. Enter the silence, and the truth you seek will come forth." With hesitant resolve, I took a seat among them, feeling the energy of their presence wash over me. Closing my eyes, I tuned into the rhythmic rise and fall of their breath, each inhalation a whisper of ancient wisdom, each exhalation a release of hesitation. I allowed myself to sink deeper into that collective heartbeat, becoming one with the community of seekers. The images from the hidden chamber resurfaced, a rush of memories entwined with my aspirations, and I felt a stirring within me. What if there was something significant I was meant to learn in this very moment? The notion pulsed beneath the surface, alive and vibrant, yet it remained just out of reach. A soft sound broke the stillness, the flutter of the book's pages turning, beckoning me to open my eyes. I gazed at the sacred text, spellbound by its allure. The pages resembled living art, each word seemed to glow, throbbing with potential, inviting exploration. I reached out, hesitating for just a moment before tracing a finger along the delicate binding, feeling the energy pulse beneath my touch. "What is the story that you carry?" the elder prompted, drawing my attention back to the gathering. "What truth is whispering within you, yearning for expression?" I opened my mouth, but no words danced forth. The knot of doubt within me tightened again. "I don't know, my story feels so small. How could it hold any significance among the lives and tales that have risen before me?" The very air seemed to still, allowing the gravity of my uncertainty to settle. "Every spark, no matter how faint, can ignite a flame." Another voice, deep and wise, resonated among the gathering. "Your experience, though it may feel insignificant, is a thread in the vast fabric of existence. Share it, and you offer the world a mirror through which to see themselves." That I nodded slowly, feeling the truth seep into my bones. As I sat in silence, the candlelight flickered gently, casting shadows that seemed to dance across the room, inviting me to surrender to vulnerability. What if my journey held the power to awaken another? The thought sparked an ember of courage. Taking a deep breath, I sought my voice, ready to share the essence of my fears, the apprehensions that had held me captive for so long. I feel intertwined in a lineage of undulating stories, yet each time I consider sharing my own, doubt clouds my vision. As the words tripped over one another, a new wave of energy enveloped the circle. Heads nodded, eyes opened, and I felt an exchange, a shared understanding that formed an invisible thread among us. Within that doubt lies a hidden treasure, the elder added with a twinkle in her eye. It requires the light of recognition. Look beneath the surface. The beauty in sharing resides not just in the story but in the connection it creates. Every listener may find a piece of themselves within your narrative. Her words ignited an unexpected warmth in my chest. Suddenly, the act of sharing no longer felt daunting but rather a bridge connecting souls, a dance of authenticity that transcended time and space. With each heartbeat, I sensed deeper revelations waiting to be unveiled. As we continued to sit in that sacred circle, I couldn't shake the thought, how do I craft the courage to step onto that bridge, to unveil my truth and embrace the vulnerability required? What stories lay dormant within others, seeking the embrace of shared connection? With the flickering lights above reflecting my burgeoning understanding, a question lingered, a beacon illuminating the path ahead. How do we come together to transform our individual fears into collective strength, liberating the stories that long to be told? As the warm glow of the candles enveloped us, a silent promise filled the air, a pledge of authenticity that sparked a longing within. I felt the pull of faith as though an unseen current swirled around me, urging my heart to unravel the truths nestled in the corners of my mind. Yet just as the flame flickered, uncertainty wove through the fabric of my thoughts, pulling me back into contemplation. May we honor the stories yet to come, the elder's voice beckoned. With every heart that beats, a new tale arises. Will you allow your story to emerge, no matter how small it seems? The question echoed in the chamber, reverberating through my spirit, weaving tightly around the threads of courage and fear. In every cell, I knew I carried a history, a lineage of stories wrapped in moments of joy and sorrow alike. Yet, like a hesitant seed yearning for sun, the part of me that sought to grow felt trapped beneath layers of hesitation. I closed my eyes once more, inhaling deeply. As I tuned into the rhythm of the gathering's breath, I noticed how each individual finally harmonized with the presence of one another like a tapestry woven by a skilled artisan. In that moment of awareness, strangers became a collectivity, a soul community, and my heartbeat began to echo a newfound resolve. Then, a gentle pressure tugged at my consciousness, distinct and curious. I turned my attention inward, focusing on the sensation that seemed to rise from the very center of my being. It was as if my essence was reaching out, urging me to explore deeper realms. What lay beneath the surface was an expansive landscape filled with memories, dreams, and questions, each pulse resonating with the cadence of a story waiting to unfold. Just then, the flutter of the book called out to my senses. I opened my eyes and leaned forward, curiosity consuming me, as I traced the delicate gelatinous pages with my fingertip. Each phrase seemed to shimmer with possibility, casting sparks of inspiration onto the consciousness of those nearby. The book carried whispers from centuries past, each line a door inviting exploration into the wisdom of lives once lived. What if the book is a portal? I mused aloud, the thought tumbling from my lips before I could hold it back. What if through sharing our stories, we can access not just our own truths but the wisdom of those who came before us? A ripple of understanding passed through the circle, igniting smiles and contemplations. The elder nodded sagely. You speak of the legacy that binds us across ages. Stories are portals to wisdom, enabling the liberation of voices long forgotten. By unlocking your truth, you connect to the narrative that transcends time. Would you take a step toward this unveiling? Her gaze held mine, and the gravity of the invitation sent a slight tremor through me. What would it mean to access the depths of those mystical experiences, allowing them to guide my journey? I turned inward once again, contemplating the notion that each story shared might evoke a forgotten memory, or perhaps a revelation from the past, a thread linking me to emotions that were not solely mine. Consider this an adventure, she continued, her voice soothing the tremors of my anxiety. A venture into the fathoms of your soul, where truths lay in waiting. Delve deep, what mysteries wish to rise and dance in the light? What broken pieces yearn for healing? At that moment, visions began swirling in my mind. Images of my childhood played like a flickering film, moments of joy, moments of fear, and the quiet struggles I had often tucked away. Each image spiraled, weaving in and out, until they intertwined with the collective experiences of other seekers, echoes of laughter, tears, and revelations shared long before me. As I unraveled these threads, I could almost feel the presence of those who had walked the path before me, their stories resonating in unison with my own. A powerful realization unfurled within. The fear that had tethered me for too long began to dissolve as I understood that vulnerability created sacred spaces for connection and transformation. With renewed determination, I felt my voice gaining clarity, yet the question refused to settle. How do I step into this wisdom, embracing the vulnerability required to unveil my story while honoring the multitude of voices that surround me? As the flickering candlelight reflected off the shimmering walls, I felt the anticipation of an unknown journey stretch before me. Each flicker carried the weight of unspoken possibilities. The question remained, persistent and so tantalizing: what truths will we discover as we venture beyond the shadows into the collective light of our vulnerability and connection, unlocking not only our stories but the legacy that binds us? The invitation lingered in the air like the aroma of freshly brewed tea, warm and enticing yet slightly overwhelming. As I breathed deeply, the candlelight danced, illuminating not just the room but the corners of my heart that had long remained dim. What would it mean to reveal my soul's narrative against the backdrop of a shared experience? I sensed that each individual before me carried a unique light, waiting to be recognized and celebrated, yet I grappled with the weight of my own shadows. The elder observed me closely, as though she could see the layers of hesitation etched upon my face. "Dear one," she said softly, "every journey begins with a single step, even if that step leads you into the unknown. Are you ready to take it? Even if the darkness feels palpable, trust that illumination will blossom from within." Her words echoed throughout the chamber, and in that moment, the flickering of the candles transformed into stars shining in a vast cosmos, the realization that we are all connected, the broader universe thrumming with possibility. I glanced around, each seeker's expression reflecting a silent yearning to share and to be seen, to forge bonds that could reach beyond this gathering. "I am ready," I whispered, almost as if testing the conviction of my own commitment. Ready to explore what lies beneath. Encouraged by my words, she gestured toward the ancient book resting on the altar, its cover worn and inscribed with exquisite calligraphy. "Open it and let it guide you. Choose a page that resonates with your spirit, and when you do, allow the words to linger in your heart. They may unravel the forgotten tales within." With careful reverence, I approached the book, my fingertips skimming its weathered surface. As I hesitated, I could feel the energy of centuries pulsating through the pages, eager to be unveiled. There was an undeniable connection, as though the book was alive, reaching out to embrace my curiosity. With a deep breath, I opened it. The pages flipped to a passage marked by a delicate ribbon, as if it had been waiting for me all along. The words glimmered faintly in the candlelight, their meanings shrouded yet inviting. "Wisdom flows through the veins of every heart," I read aloud, each syllable resonating within me. "Fear not the depth of your own darkness, therein lies the seed of your light." A wave of warmth washed over me, igniting memories of my childhood, dark nights filled with shadowy figures of abandonment and fear, intertwined with bright sunsets of joy and unquenchable laughter. And then it struck me that the fear I had harbored for so long was a part of my tapestry, a lesson hidden in the guise of pain. As I allowed the words to percolate, I sensed an awakening around me. Each seeker began to share, their voices melded into a symphony of experiences, tales of loss, of love, moments of courage that birthed change, and vulnerabilities exposed like petals in bloom. With every shared story, another layer of courage unfurled within me, coaxing out the voice that longed to join the chorus. Drawing strength from their revelations, I stepped forward. "I have held fear tightly, believing it to be a part of my identity," I began, throat tightening with the honesty of my declaration. "But I now see it as a beacon. A reminder that we are all illuminated in our shared experiences. The darkness is merely a backdrop for the light to shine brighter." Empathy painted the faces around me, and the air throbbed with possibility. I yearned to express more, yet questions swirled like flickering shadows. How could I honor not just my own story, but also the experiences woven into the lives of those who shared this space with me? In the depths of my heart, I felt the gentle nudging of something profound waiting to emerge. I understood that sharing is not merely a recounting of events, it is making ourselves vulnerable in the hopes of connection. The question lingered, unbidden but profoundly alluring: what would it look like to transform our gatherings into sanctuaries of stories, creating pathways for wisdom to flow freely among us, just as the last of the light began to fade in the room, anticipation captured my thoughts anew. The candle flames danced as they flickered and bent towards one another, whispering secrets of the universe. Breathtaking revelations nestled within the questions remained unfathomed. With each exchange, we breathed life into our collective legacy, our stories merging in the luminous tapestry of existence. At that moment, a vision sparked within me, an image of the candles as beacons of hope, warming the darkest corners of the soul. We were all connected, stories waiting to be told, destinies intertwined. What other layers of truth lay hidden just beneath the surface of our fears? What other worlds awaited our discovery as we stepped deeper into the flow of life's vast mystery? I understood the journey was only beginning, unfurling like the pages of the book that lay before me, each chapter yet to be written. As I stood alone in that expansive dome, the flickering candlelight casting its warmth throughout the gathering, I sensed a collective energy coalescing around us, a tapestry woven from intricate threads, each colored by our stories, experiences, and aspirations. Each heartbeat echoed like a drum, a rhythm shared among us, reminding me that we were not merely individuals but parts of a greater whole, a universal narrative that bound us in profound ways. In that moment of clarity, I felt the weight of my insecurities lift slightly. I understood that this transformation was not just a solitary endeavor, it was a shared journey, a symbiotic dance with both the known and the unknown. As I gazed into the eyes of my fellow seekers, I recognized a reflection of my own soul, a mirror of yearning and courage, a reminder that we are all both the seeker and the guide. With a newfound resolve vibrating within me, I recalled the words from the forbidden book: wisdom flows through the veins of every heart. Those words resonated with a potency that reverberated through my being. Each of us carried a story, a lesson encapsulated within the essence of our lived experiences, waiting to be shared, understood, and woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness. Taking a deep breath, I poised myself to speak again. I see now that every shadow I have faced has been a teacher, and in acknowledging those shadows, I am not just transforming myself, I am lighting the way for others as well. I knew it was time to share not just my journey but the parts of me that whispered of vulnerability, tied to the wisdom of those who had come before. As a child, I often retreated into the corners of my own fear, convinced that my voice would never matter. I felt insignificant among the stories of great heroes, those who conquered mountains and faced dragons. But now I recognize that my adventures, however small they may seem, hold immeasurable power. Every moment spent questioning, every instance of bravery, no matter how faint, contributes to this magnificent mosaic we're forming together. A ripple of soft murmurs swept through the circle. I could feel the shared understanding in the air, a recognition that we had all grappled with this same weight of doubt. Perhaps our fears are not barriers to our stories, but rather gateways to connection, I continued, emboldened. When we allow ourselves to share our truths, our joys, our mistakes, weave a thread between us that offers strength and solace. It is in our vulnerability that we find our collective voice, one that can echo through the ages. With every word, the energy in the room surged, illuminating the once shadowed corners of my being. I could feel the warmth of acceptance wrap around me, igniting a fire within my heart. Each seeker shifted slightly, eyes glimmering with recognition and resonance as they considered their own tales, their own shadows and lights. As I surrendered to that energy, I realized I wasn't just sharing my story, I was offering an invitation to each of them to embrace their shadows, to weave the tapestry further, to acknowledge that in our shared humanity lies the essence of our collective awakening. Let us remember, I said softly, that we are all storytellers weaving together in this grand narrative called life. We each hold keys to different locks. And as we unlock those doors, we can guide one another toward the wisdom we seek. This gathering, the warmth of the candlelight, the flickering shadows all serving as a reminder that connection thrives in the interplay of our stories. A surge of realization coursed through me like a gentle wavy recognition that in sharing our truths, we dispel the fog of loneliness and isolation. I looked around the circle, taking in the faces of those who sat before me, united by our shared intentions. I felt deeply that in every breath, in every word spoken, we were co-creating a sanctuary, a space where authenticity flourished like wildflowers following the spring thaw. Finally, as the gathering reached a natural lull, the elder rose, her presence filling the space with quiet strength. "You have embraced the essence of your truth, dear ones," she said, her voice steady and soothing. "Within the folds of darkness lies an opportunity, a chance to illuminate paths for others. Let today mark the beginning of not only sharing your stories but embracing the stories of others, for in doing so, we enrich the world around us." As her words dulled into the hushed stillness that followed, I felt an intense wave of gratitude wash over me. In that moment, I recognized that my journey of self-discovery was interwoven with the journeys of all those around me, transcending the mere act of storytelling. Together, we were gathering fragments of wisdom, building bridges of understanding, and bursting forth into a world awash with possibility. The room buzzed with a gentle energy, and in my heart stirred a truth so profound it felt like a whisper from the universe itself. We are all seekers, wanderers, and storytellers navigating the vast expanse of existence. With each thread of honesty we share, we reach toward the light illuminating the unseen corners of our hearts and those of others. As I reflected on this new understanding, I felt a sense of inner peace settle within me. The path ahead remained full of the unknown, yet I stood armed with a newfound awareness of the power contained within the stories we all carried. It would be a continuous journey, one that would evolve, unfold, and interweave, much like the shimmering infinite cosmos above us. And as I gazed around the circle one last time, the candle flames danced wildly with renewed spirit, echoing the symphony of our souls mingling together. In that sacred space, I knew we had begun to unlock the wisdom that lay hidden not just in the pages of an ancient tome, but within each of us. In sharing our stories, we transform shadows into light, and the world resonates with the truth. Together, we illuminate the path toward our collective awakening. With each step, we become both the seekers and the sages, destined to leave an indelible mark on the canvas of time, for indeed, it is in the harmony of our voices that we step into the divine dance of existence, inviting others to join us as we journey forth into the infinite realms of possibility.